So even if you had iman, and you had good deeds, and you told people about the truth, but you didn't have sabr, you still drowned. So how many conditions do you have to fulfill to survive? All four. All four conditions are required. They're critical and they're necessary. This is first and foremost, this is about this dunya. How do we know this? Allah Azza wa Jalla used the word wal asr, time that is running out. In which world is time running out? This world or the next world? In this world, time is running out. In the next world, there's no time running out. Either you're fi jannatin, aw fi narin abadan. Either you're in a garden, timeless, or in the fire, timeless. Allahumma la taj'alna min ashabin nar. May Allah not make us from the people of fire. What does Allah say at the end of this surah? First He says, Innal insana lafi wal asr. First of all, time's running out. Then He says, Innal insana lafi khusr. I'll translate it, human beings are drowned in loss. You see the parallel? Human beings are drowned in loss. What's the exception? Illa ladhina? Those who believed. Believed what? Allah didn't say, Amanu billahi wa malaikatihi wa kutubihi wa rusulihi wal yawmil akhiri wal qadri khayrihi wa sharri min Allah ta'ala wal ba'thi ba'da. Nothing. He didn't mention anything. Even though all of those things are included. According to the siyaq of the surah, the context of the surah, what is the first thing these people have to believe? That they're in loss. That they're drowning. And if they do come to believe that, and they correct their iman, what's necessarily going to happen? They're going to swim and move upwards. How does Allah describe this action? وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ. They do good things. They do things that help reconcile the situation. By the way, salih is an adjective here, salihat, jama' mu'annath salim, which literally means that which corrects something. Something was wrong and it corrects it. So they do actions that correct the situation. Literally like the guy trying to swim. But because they were tied to other people, what else did they have to do? وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْحَقِّ. They had to tell the other the truth. And it's not even أَخْبَرُوا عَنِ. They told them about the truth. No. You have to wake him up and let's go, we have to go. No matter, and over again. Tawasi even has takrar in it. It has repetition. Over and over again they said, this is the truth, this is the truth, this is the truth. You know why? Because the people you're trying to save, even if you wake them up temporarily for 20 minutes, 30 minutes during a khutbah, guess what happens when the khutbah is done? They go back to sleep. They start drowning again. So what do you have to do? You have to go and wake them up again. Then they get sleepy again. Then you got to wake them up again. This is tawasi bil haqq. And you might get tired of doing it. You might become impatient. So Allah also adds, وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ. You got to keep doing it. Sabr means consistency, constancy, perseverance, patience. You got to remain on point. You got to keep doing this. Because your survival depends on it. In the end, if you do all of these things but you have no patience, and you give up, you drown too. The way this surah is understood as a summary of the entire Quran is incredible. First of all, Allah takes an oath. Are there places in the Quran where Allah takes an oath? Sure. This is the last of them. This is the last of them. In the series of oaths in the Quran, this is the final one. The second thing. When we find, in this surah Allah says, إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَفِي خُسْرٍ. He talks about the loss of the human being. Human beings are in trouble. Is this not one of the key messages of the Prophet ﷺ? Human beings are in trouble. When he came up on the mount and he addressed the people, did he not warn them about the Day of Judgment? Did he not warn them about a danger that is coming, that they're in loss, they're in trouble? This is one of the central messages of this book, of this message of Islam altogether. Then there are 4 exceptions. What's the first one? Iman. Iman. The Quran, in much of the Quran is talking about what? Iman. Then it says good deeds. Our deen, there's iman and then there's what? Good deeds. And then there's the life and the struggle of the Prophet ﷺ, which is tawasi bil haqq and tawasi bil sabr. So the entire manhaj, the entire methodology of Rasulullah ﷺ is captured in these 4 words. Anywhere you study in the Quran, anywhere you study in the seerah, anywhere you study in the sunnah, you will find one of 4 things. Either you will find iman, or you'll find a'mal as-salihah, or you'll find tawasi bil haqq, or you'll find tawasi bil sabr. You'll find one of these 4 things all over the Quran, or all over the sunnah. It's a summary of the entire deen captured in very, very few words. It's miraculously beautiful. So even if you had iman, and you had good deeds, and you told people about the truth, but you didn't have sabr, you still drowned. So how many conditions do you have to fulfill to survive? All 4. All 4 conditions are required. They're critical and they're necessary. Which is why there's a wa in between them. You see the logical progression from iman to amil salihat to tawasaw bil haqq to tawasaw bil sabr, beautifully articulated in this surah. That this is the summarized message of Surah Al-Asr. What Allah Azza wa Jalla is talking about is our own survival, our own, literally our own escape from the hellfire, our own escape from impending loss in this world and then in the next. But know this surah is about this dunya. Last comment, inshallah ta'ala, and I will conclude bi'idhnillah in regards to this surah. I want to give it this much time and importance because again, I feel its message is so powerful and so critical that all of us in our families need to understand it. And this is a surah, wallahi, it's a tragedy that we know this surah, and the irony is if you're late for the movie, and your salah is coming in the way, or you got to go play basketball and it's salah time, you got to quickly get rid of the salah, what do? You recite that time is running out and you're in loss. The irony of the whole thing, right? Because it's quick, short and sweet, hit and run salah and you go, right? We have, in our homes, we have big portraits that say, وَالْعَصْرِ إِنَّ الْإِنسَانَ لَفِي خُسْرٍ, right next to the big screen TV or the video game console, and we're playing for hours and hours, and it says right there in our face, human beings are in loss. And what's their greatest loss? Time. That the time is being drained away from all of them. SubhanAllah. This is the surah to understand, and it's basically at the heart of the entire Quran. The entire Quran. The last comment I wanted to make before you, which is a comprehensive overview comment. May Allah Azza wa Jal give us a comprehensive, complete understanding of Surah Al-Asr and of the entire Quran. May Allah Azza wa Jal enable us to embed its powerful message into our hearts and to be able to communicate that to others, especially family and friends, that Allah may enter it into their hearts as well. Allahumma nawwir qulubana bi nur al-Quran. Barakallahu li wa lakum fil Quran al-Hakim. In the end, Allah is talking to you and me. We should have all that knowledge. We should seek to acquire that knowledge. We should seek to have deeper understanding of the Quran. That is part of understanding the Quran. But we should never lose sight of the fact that in the end, Allah is talking to me somebody concerned about you talks to you, and somebody concerned about you gives you advice. Allah is giving you advice. And Allah is not talking about anybody else. He's talking about you and me. فِيهِ ذِكْرُكُمْ. In it is your mention. Allah is talking about you. He's not talking about anyone else. When you keep this in mind, we learn something about this surah. Talking about it is very easy. Talking about this surah and its demands is very easy. Internalizing them is very difficult. Every single human being, in their head, they have an understanding of what it means to be successful. Every single human. Doesn't have to be Muslim. Every human being. Doesn't have to speak your own language. Every culture, every society, every man, woman, and child aspires to something that they consider success. For your kid, it may be getting a good grade, success. For you, it may be a promotion or getting a job, or making a lot more money than you do now, or getting a certain car, or marrying a certain person, or buying a house. Whatever it may be, there's something in your head that you consider success. And there are some people you look at and you don't even have to think about it. As soon as you see them, the thought that crosses your mind is, that guy's pretty successful. That one's pretty successful. How did they become so successful? I mean, in other words, you don't have to say it. It's in your head. And let me show you a personal experiment you can conduct. You're driving down a neighborhood, a fancy neighborhood, and you see a really beautiful house. Does your eye stay on it for a couple of seconds? Just, at least a couple of seconds. You may get distracted from it. Maybe you even pull over. Whoa, that's nice. Because in your head, you're thinking, that person reached one milestone of success. It's in our head. That is something to aspire for. That's a kind of success. What are we learning from these examples? We're learning that the way we think about success and failure is not the way Allah wants us to think about success and failure. It's completely different. And then when we start rearranging our thinking, we learn something very critical about the society in which we live. And all of this is the message of this surah, by the way. In this society and in the world today, there are certain things that are defined as success, and you are told that that is success over and over and over and over again. In other words, the wrong definition of success is bombarded at you constantly. You cannot so much as turn your computer on, and a banner ad will show you what kind of car you should get. And based on your searches, these are the stores that want to give you, a discount. And the billboard will show you what kind of house you should buy. Advertising in every way, shape, or form being pumped towards you. Even among our parents and our elders, among our youth, what college you should go to, what kind of job you should get, which neighborhood you should move to. Constantly we are being told, what is success? What is success? What is success?